Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Katie. I'm from Jobber. I'm the social media strategist. And today we are going to be chatting with Oscar from Detail Groove. And Oscar, I'll let you do a bit of intro for yourself.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I'm Oscar from Detail Groove, but that's like the social media part. I do run a detailing business here in Houston, Texas. So alongside from doing all this content creation, I also do have a full-time business that I'm running as well.
Awesome. Amazing. And yeah, one of the big topics today that we're going to be going through is essentially how you grew your business. I know there's been so many different ways that you've had that's helped you grow in your business. So why don't we start off by having you kind of talk through what are some of the main ways, kind of a big question, but what are some of the main ways that you grew your detailing business over the last couple of years?
Yeah, so with that, with like, because I get a lot of questions like that of like, so which ways did you do it? And it's like the reality is like, once my business actually took off, it was by eliminating all the ways and just choosing one thing. So like just off the cuff already, it's like the best way that you can grow your business is just focus on one marketing channel and learn and implement everything that you can from that one thing, and don't do anything else until you're squeezing every single last ounce of juice out of that one thing. So for me at that time in 2014, it was SEO, search engine optimization. So like from 2011 to 2013, 14, had nothing going on, could barely get customers. I mean, I had a few customers here and there from word of mouth, referrals, whatever, but nothing consistent, nothing where I was like, all right, like I'm making money. And I read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. Like it's been like the number one book I recommend to everyone. And after reading that, I was like, okay, what's my one thing? What's one thing that if I were to get this thing down, everything else would change in my business? And I locked on to SEO, search engine optimization. And that's when you rank your website on the first page of Google for targeted keywords. So if you're in, I don't know, Austin, Texas, you'd want to rank for keywords like Austin auto detailing, Austin car detailing. So I did that for about 9 months, like from starting to like getting like the results that I wanted. It was about like 9 months of, it was like 6 months of work, 9 to 12 months of like patience. And then since then, the leads have just been consistently coming in. There's been some slow moments over the last like 7 years, but the number one way I've grown our business past $10,000 per month has been through getting our website ranked on the first page of Google for multiple keywords in our area. So SEO has been my, like, even to today, even with running Google ads and a bit of Facebook ads, our number one marketing channel is still search engine optimization.
And how did you go about learning to do that when you were like, okay, SEO is going to be my thing? Where did you start in terms of your education and learning how to do it all?
Yeah, so like just YouTube, Google, coaches, courses, whatever. I mean, like especially in the beginning phases, and this goes for like any platform that you want to learn, not just SEO. It's like whether it's Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube ads. It's like just get obsessive of just learning everything. And it's like looking back, like I didn't learn anything in order. It was just like, okay, what is, with the base, like what is SEO? Okay, let me go search that. And then, you find another word that you don't know. You're like, oh, what is that? And then you like over months, you start piecing everything together. Like, oh, okay, so this is what you do, and this is what is this, and this is what is that. So honestly, it was just a lot of YouTube, a lot of blog posts. If I could pay for someone to help me, I'd pay someone to help me. If I could buy a course, I'd buy a course. And that's buying a course on Udemy for like $19, paying someone $700 to help me out, finding a course for $1,000. Like I went through all facets of like whatever I could find to help me out. Like I would dive into it because I was just very obsessed about like, okay, let me learn everything about SEO. And like that's one thing I've been doing for the like since 2014. So like at this point, I call myself an SEO. Like I don't say like I know we run Google ads. I'm not an expert at Google ads. We run Facebook ads. I'm not an expert at Facebook ads. But like SEO, like I know I'm an expert at local SEO because like that's like I've devoured all information. I still pay for like if mall like malls is like an SEO resource. Like I'll pay for any courses or classes they have, or if I like need to bounce some ideas for my website, like I'll pay a guy to be, hey, can you just like answer these questions? Can I talk to you one-on-one? So in the beginning phases, it was strictly like YouTube, blog posts, whatever, like more on the free side because I didn't have that much money at that time. And as things progress, like year after year after year, it was like, okay, well, I'll spend, $700 over here. And then, months later, I'll spend $1,000 over here. Months later, I'll spend $500 over here. And that compound effect is what like just month after month, year after year, just I got wiser and more experience and more knowledge, and I'd implement. And the key part to everything is absolutely implementing what you learn. Like you could pay whatever coach, buy whatever course, do whatever, but it's like if you don't actually implement what you're reading, right? Like between reading a blog post, like the next 30 minutes, you should go implement something from that blog post to your website, right? Like that's like how fast you should implement something. Um, so I'm not gonna say self-taught because I literally just like I learned from others, but it wasn't like through like a like university or whatever. It's just like I just consumed as much information as I possibly could. And again, it's like it's one. Oh my god, my lights went out. It's one of those things where like you don't know what's gonna work or what's not gonna work, but it's like you just dive headfirst. You try to learn everything. You implement as much as you can. Most of the things probably won't work, but once you find something that does work, you fully dive into that, and then from there you just keep on like capitalizing on the thing that's working. So over the last like 7 years, like has most of the things worked that I've tried? No, but it's like most of the things you do in your business won't work. It's just about finding the few things that do work, and then you literally just squeeze every single ounce of energy or juice that you can from that one thing.
And it's nice that there are free things or free resources that people can start with. And I think that's a great note to touch on, because there's so many things that once you build up and you feel confident, you can start paying for courses. But yeah, it's really great to note that there's YouTube videos, there's so much on Google that other business owners can take advantage of when learning about SEO, like you said. And my next question for you is, when you first started your business and then you started the SEO kind of journey of learning everything, was that when you really started to see things ramp up then when you started the SEO, or were there other ways? You mentioned Google ads, Facebook ads. Did you do anything local in terms of getting customers, or was it kind of SEO as the main driver for getting customers?
Yeah, so I think before then, like, and this is where like most business owners will find themselves is in like that desperate hope phase of like, okay, let me just like everything's almost like a Hail Mary at some point where like anything you do is like, all right, it's gonna work out, like go, like oh, this gotta be the last thing. So yeah, I had the one thing I did was I think I spent like before the SEO, I spent $700 on Yelp ads, thinking like, all right, like we're gonna go to the Super Bowl now, like we're done, like I'm cashing in. And 2.5 months, $700 on Yelp ads, and this was back in like 2013, so like way back when. Generated like 0 clicks, 0 leads, zero anything. So I was like, dang. And at the time I was like, I put that on credit because I was like, all right, like I'm committed, I'm faithful, like it's gonna work out. Like I'm gonna spend $700 and I'll pay it off with the revenue that I generated from the leads. And that didn't work out. So after that, it was like a few more months of like, what am I doing? And or I don't know the exact time difference, but then so then 2014 comes around, and again like I focus in on SEO, and again this like the SEO part was like over 6 to 9 months of like working and waiting and being patient for those results. And yeah, like at the 9th month mark of working on SEO, we have night and day difference, like 7 to 10 calls per day, like 3 to 8 emails per day, like from like 9 months ago, scratching my head thinking like what am I doing with my life? And then 9 months later, it's like the phone is just like blowing up, the leads are coming in like crazy, like. And then I realized at that point, I was like, dang, like it was much easier to raise my prices once I was getting like 10 leads per day versus 9 months ago when I was getting no leads, no customers. So I was like, dang, so if you have enough leads, it's much easier. Because I think like month after month, I was like, okay, let's just like $25 an hour. And then I was like, dang, there's a lot of leads. It's like $30 an hour. And then I was, dang, there's a lot of leads, $45 an hour. Dang, there's a lot of $55 an hour. And it's like, because I had an influx of leads, even though I'd have a lot more people tell me no because my prices were higher, I was still able to get plenty of customers on the schedule because I had that influx of leads. So that right there was like, dang, like if you figure out the like how to consistently generate a constant flow of quality leads, it solves a lot of problems. Not all the problems, right? And like solving that problem just brings like 7 other problems. But like once you figure that problem, which is one of the bigger problems to solve, like you are in a better state to like look at your business. Because like if you're like in that desperate hopeful phase of like something has to work, you don't think clear. Like you don't think clear. Like you do a lot of short-term decision making because you want something to happen right now. But once you're like, oh, like I'm getting a consistent flow of leads, I'm booking out a consistent calendar right now. Like I have revenue on the calendar for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It just gives you a lot more clarity. Like you like have a there's more calmness when you know there's money on the schedule versus like there's no money. I have no job. What am I gonna do now? So yeah, it's a big relief to know, one, like what marketing channel, two, like to know how to actually control your business. Like, because a lot of people want to like outsource whatever marketing, they want to outsource the marketing, and it's like you need to be in control of what levers to push and pull to generate more leads into your, like if you don't know how to generate more leads into your business, you're not in control of what you're doing, and you're just like always in that mode of desperation of like, well, what's gonna happen. So I forgot the original question, but yes.
Oh, great. So many things. I actually wanted to touch on one thing that you mentioned was raising prices. I feel like that's such a hot topic right now, amongst other business owners. Everyone's kind of looking to see, should they raise their prices, by how much. Do you have any general tips for people, insights of, when you did first raise your prices, or when you mentioned that you knew that to raise your prices once you started getting all those leads, you're like, okay, I can charge a little bit more. But was there anything else in that process that kind of helped you with the process of raising prices, in terms of communicating, in terms of, yeah, you get more no's than yeses maybe, and maybe knowing how high to go? Yeah. What kind of advice do you have for people in terms of that stuff?
Yeah, so on that one, like there's multiple factors to that, because like you can focus on getting more quality leads, you can focus on your communication skills, you can focus on your sales system or process, whatever that may be. So there's multiple like touch points or milestones that you can focus on. But then it's always the argument of like, what's more important, getting more quality leads, and like if I could choose between not being good at sales but having an influx of high quality leads versus not having that many leads but being good at sales, I'm going to choose, I'd rather not be good at sales but a high quality influx of leads, because just by like the math of things, even if I suck but my like the leads are high quality, they want it now, I'll still have a better chance of landing more customers if I just have more leads coming in. Because then even if you are a good salesperson but you still only have like 5 leads per week, I mean, it's still only 5 leads per week.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's like one way of looking at it. So like, yeah, I mean, it still comes with like knowing the value that you offer, right? Like knowing like what you actually offer to the customer. And most of the time it's not just the service that you do, right? Like, I could have focused on like, we offer the best services, and we offer the best whatever. But it's like most of the time customers want like, hey, when I call this person, are they going to pick up the phone call? If they tell me they're going to call back, are they going to call back? If they say they're going to be here at 9 a.m., do they actually show up at 9 a.m.? So it's definitely a bunch of factors. But yeah, like definitely like knowing the value that you provide in your business, right? And it's not just like, oh, we're the cheapest. That's not a value proposition. That just like that hurts you more than anything. So it's not so much on the price. But yeah, it's knowing the value that you offer. It's being confident in your skills, confident in yourself. It's knowing, and over time, as you get more experience, as you get more phone calls in, as you get more like touch point with potential customers, you understand what questions that they have, what are their pain points, why they're calling you, different scenarios of why someone is calling you. So like a lot of that's going to come down just to like getting the experience down, right? As like actually talking to someone, not fumbling over your words, not talking too fast. So there's a lot of things when it comes to that, but I would say at the top of everything though, I would say like a lot of problems, not a lot of problems are solved, but you're just able to solve a lot of other problems when you have a consistent flow of customers, of high quality leads coming into your business. Like once you get that, okay, if you suck at sales, well, now you can definitely get more reps in with those potential customers and more quickly increase your sales skills.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'll still put like, if you get like just a steady stream of high quality leads coming in, that solves a lot of problems
Mm-hmm.
in your sales process. And another thing is like, yeah, it's I would say like it's having the confidence to be like, I'm gonna raise my prices, because I know it's like it's it could be something like a little hard to like, okay, so I'm gonna talk to this person, and now I used to say $100 and now I'm saying 200. Like that's all I have to do. Like I'm now saying $200, and it's like, yeah, like that's really it. Like when I was raising my prices way back when, like I didn't like let any customers know. I was just like, the next person that calls, I'm gonna raise my prices. Like that's a simple if the last call was 150, this one's gonna be 175. And then like, a week later, like, all right, I'm gonna try 200 now, right? And like you will not know if a customer or if your services are priced too high or too low until you actually try and sell those services to the actual person that has money in their wallet. And don't ask your mom, don't ask your dad, don't ask your wife, don't ask your brother, don't ask someone on TikTok. Like, they're not your customers. If you want to see if you have high pricing or not, is you get people to call you, you pitch that price, and if they say yes, it's not high enough. Like that's the litmus test of like, am I priced too high? Bro, go talk to your customers, offer that service at that price and see if it's too high. Like that's like the absolute only way to know if your prices are too high. What are your customers saying? Is your schedule booked out? Okay, it's not too high then.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think people often do overthink it. And I love that idea of just like, oh, let's try a bit higher. Let's see what happens. And I think taking that leap is scary for a lot of people. But like you said, you just have to try it. And I love that idea too. If your schedule is fully booked, then maybe you can raise them a bit more and, attract those higher quality leads, like you said. But yeah, that's great advice. That's awesome. One of my next questions, it's kind of still in the realm of SEO, and I don't know if this is too big of a question, but do you have like top 3 tips? Oh, it's all good. You have the censored like top 3 tips for like even someone just starting out with SEO that you maybe learned early on that you were like, okay, this helps a lot. Just grasp it in terms of the concept, maybe big learnings that you have. Do you have any, main SEO tips that you can share?
Yeah, I'll try to be more strategic rather than tactical, because tactical, like, it's more like granular things. So strategic wise, like high level planning is like, you want to think about your website. So think about your website as like just like an octopus, right? You want your website to have a page for every, and this applies to any business, like not just detailer, like any service-based business, a dentist, a chiropractor, a lawyer, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You basically want to have your website, you want to have a page for every keyword or service that you offer. So for us detailers, if you're offering a car wash service, you have a page dedicated to car wash. If you have a headlight restoration page, you'd have a page for headlight restoration. If you have, interior cleaning, you'd have a page for interior cleaning. But you follow that method for every single service. And if you're a mobile detailer, and if you do this for landscaping, for roofing, for plumbers, like you would create a page, a service area page for every area that you service in your city. So, and that's the big benefit between, like, if you're like a dentist or a lawyer that has a location versus being like a service area business in the terms of Google, where like you're actually going to the customer's location. So if you're in, I don't know, Los Angeles, and you have like 10 different cities within Los Angeles, you can create a service area page for every single city in that, or every single service area in that service area. That way, like, your website has a page for every single little service and area that you offer, that you go to. So like, I'll try to give another example. Like if you live in if you do, I don't know, plumbing, right? Like whatever service you offer, you create its own specific page for that service. And then if you service 12 different areas, you'd create a service page for those 12 different areas. So your website should have maybe between, depending where you live, how many services you offer, yada, 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 you should have between like 15 to like 35 pages on your website, each page being hyper specific to one specific keyword in a specific area. That is basically like how I followed how I do our website. And that's how I teach everyone to do, is like being hyper specific with your website. Like it's, if you have one service, that should be its own page. If you service an area, that should be its own page. So being hyper specific with your website for keywords or areas that you service. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, that's great info. I feel like we also had a comment that just said great info, Oscar. So yeah, it's good. It's going good. I feel like people are definitely getting value from it. And I think that's the basics of SEO for sure. Like you said, I feel like that gives people a really great idea of, okay, then I have to rank, those pages get ranked on Google, and then they could dive deeper into, you know, the ins and outs of SEO, because I'm sure there's so much more in the back end than the pages side. But I think that's a great start for sure.
Yeah, and I would like to add, yeah, like there with SEO specifically, like the big question is like, what do I need? What platform? What tool do you need? You don't need any like whether they're using Weebly, Wix, Squarespace, WordPress. That's like the big four. You can do SEO all within there. Like you don't need to know coding, programming, design. Like there is, if you can type on a keyboard, even with two fingers, and move your mouse over, like that's all you really need for to do any SEO. Like there's no like, you know, sophisticated tools or software. It's like it's your website. It's very basic things that you do to your pages to get them optimized. So that's like the one of the biggest, like, what do I need? You don't need much. Just get a website builder. That's all you need.
Right. And for you, you know, you have SEO kind of at the top of your lead generation tactic. But second, would you say it's Facebook ads or Google ads? Which other one would you say would be your kind of next best lead generator?
Yeah, for us, since we kind of want to piggyback off of our organic side, so like SEO is all organic, meaning you're not paying Google any money to get on the first page. It's all through organic optimization.
Right.
They have the algorithm to try to shift you through where you're best placed. So we're already kind of dominating the organic side. So a complementary channel to that would be Google Ads, because now we can try to take up some organic listings, and now if we're paying for ads, we can show up on their ad listings as well. So for us, our next step to that was Google Ads. So right now, I should check probably, but I think it's like $300 or $500 per month. And yeah, so complementary to that would be Google Ads, which is basically the same thing, just now you're paying to be shown on the first page of Google, and it's a bit different. But those are our two main marketing channels. It'd be SEO and then Google Ads, and then like referrals and word of mouth. And since we have a shop here as well, I would add like another, not really a marketing channel, but like an avenue of customers finding. Actually, no, I'd still put that for SEO, because we do have a lot of walk-ins actually, and it is simply by people going in Google Maps,
right,
and searching for like detailing services, and then like, hey, you know, we just, you know, search on Google, and you know, we're here. So yeah, so for us, like we get emails, we get phone calls, and then probably like the highest form of a lead is like they literally walk into our place of business and they're like, "Can I get a quote?" So yeah, our main two are our SEO and then Google Ads.
Right. And you have a, you know, a great community on social media, an organic community as well. Would you say some leads come from there as well, or is it more of the detailing community? Because I know you connect with a lot of other detailers as well. So do you find like Instagram, Facebook, organic posting works too with leads?
Yes, on that one, like for myself, as far as the detail group side, I almost don't get any leads from like any of the content that I post
Right.
on detail group, just because I remember like when I first started the whole detail group thing, I didn't want those two things across. Like if I grew the detailing business, it was like on my own merit of like I can market a local business and I can do what I need to do. But aside from that, we have posted on Instagram. The thing is, like, again, like everyone has finite resources, right? So for us, again, we're already doing SEO, we're already doing Google Ads, we're getting referrals and word of mouth. So, you know, not to stretch ourselves too thin, like we don't post as much on Instagram just because we have two other channels already doing all the work. But that being said, though, if you wanted to do things on Instagram or TikTok, like everything works if you give it the time it deserves, if you understand the platform in its entirety, if you stay consistent with it over the next 6 months, 6 to 12 months. So like anything works if you're consistent for 6 to 12 months with this one platform and you squeeze out as much as you can from the one platform. Like for us, yeah. So Instagram to us isn't like don't get me wrong, we still generate leads from there from posting reels and photos, but like as far as, you know, the totem pole of like where's the biggest leads, like we might get like 5 leads a month through Instagram, which is still great. We're just posting on there. But like if we were to like get blocked or get banned on Instagram, like it wouldn't do anything to our business. Like it's Google Ads and SEO that bring in the majority of our leads.
Yeah, I think that's great to note for sure, because, you know, a lot of business owners they're solo entrepreneurs and they don't always have a ton of bandwidth, like you said. So I think it's a great tip for sure to kind of focus in on one thing, learn as much as you can, because then you're investing into that platform and you're really creating, whether it's like quality content on TikTok or like you said, SEO, and putting everything into SEO, and it's works so works so well for you. So, I feel like that's good to know, because not everyone at the beginning, at least, can do all the platforms at once. So
Yeah.
yeah, great tip for sure. Changing gears a little bit here. I know you do have employees, and I'm sure that came a little bit later on in your business. So why don't you talk about that process a little bit of, when you started scaling your business, at what point did you hire employees? Where did you find them? All that fun stuff. Let's start there.
Yeah, so the first time I hired an employee was, and this is the advice I always give, like, don't even think about employee. Don't even have that word. Just say someone to help you out, like just a helper that just like, if it's a busy, get your brother or something to come help you. Cause that's how I started. I was like, I would be getting so many leads, and I'm like, this is a lot of leads. Like I could book them, but I physically cannot get to them in time. So the way I did it was I just started asking again, like just whatever you got to do, like just to get the ball rolling, do that. Like don't gotta like, go put up a job listing on Indeed. Well, scratch all that. Just go get someone to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I just started asking like friends or family members, like, hey, like, do you have a few hours out of the week to like help me out? And I asked a few people, and then I landed on my cousin. Like that's it. Like, and he just got back to Houston, and I was like, can you help me out? And he said, I'll help you out. And then like that's literally how it all started.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, oh dang, like it helps a lot to have someone help you out, because what I could do by myself, I was able to like over time, once you get like some systems in place and you kind of get equipped, you're like, dang, like we already finished this first car. Like that was crazy. Let's go to the next one, I guess. So yeah, it was, I hired someone when there was too many customers that I wasn't getting to, that I was like, dang, if I had more help, I can knock out more cars. So I need someone to help me. So that's how it started. And it went like that for a while, where it was just like, and even the way I have a full podcast on this of like, everything was like, okay, like every week I understood better like what we were doing. So like when I first had him help me, I was like, all right, bro, like I'll pay you for the day. I'll pay you whatever, however much per day. And we did that for like a couple of weeks. I'm like, okay, it seems kind of steady. Let me pay you at the end of the week now. And over time, that's how I kept on working. Like, and then you're like, okay, well, how much, does $12 an hour seem fair? Does $14 seem out? Does that seem fair? And just like literally like week after week, month after month, like you kind of find out, oh, okay, so this how you do. Oh, okay, this how you do it. And then fast forward, I can't see the exact time difference, but then we're like, okay, let's actually bring someone on full time. And then that's when we actually like had the like our accountant set up all the payroll, whatever. Like I don't know how to do any of that. Which again, it goes back to like everyone has a finite amount of resources. Like you got to pick and choose your battle. So with accounting, payroll, I don't know what the hell that is. So I had our accountant set all that up. So now we have everyone, have on a I-4, I-9, and whatever those forms are, which make them a W-2 employee, and they get paid out every 2 weeks. And we have someone hold the taxes for them, and we do like, we're actually a legit employer now. But again, like it was just like a little bit like just incremental progress over time of like, at first you just need a helper, like, and they don't got to be full time, just 15 hours a week, 20 hours a week, like just get some help. And then over time you kind of get a better footing of like, oh, okay, and it's just a progressive thing that you get going week after week, month after month. And yeah, it's like, don't overcomplicate it. Like you don't need to hire someone and have them quit their job and pay them $42,000 a year with benefits. It's like, just get someone on the weekend to help you. Get your little brother or your cousin or whoever wants to make some side income just to go on vacation. Like I'm just like someone just to help you out. They don't need to be an expert technician. They don't need to have experience. Like, and like most things that you do in your business, aren't that difficult, right? Like if you were to like rank or prioritize where you're at, like where you as a technician or the master technician comes to play, it's like the top 20% of all tasks that you do, right? So like the bottom 80%, it doesn't take that much to learn. Like you can train just about anyone to do what they need to do. It's like the last 20% where it's like, okay, this is where you come into play. Like this is where your expertise is actually warranted. But most other things, like it's not that difficult. So like for us, like detailers, like our highest level service that we offer is like a paint correction and coating. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but like of the entire process, the main part where like I would be needed, where like it's like, okay, like this is where my skill set comes into play, is the actual polishing and applying a ceramic coating. cleaning the wheels and tires, washing the vehicle, cleaning the vehicle, like those, I can train anyone to do it because it's not difficult.
Hmm.
So like the first helper that I had, Anthony, didn't know a lick of detailing. He came on a Sunday afternoon. I was like, all right, bro, I'm gonna teach you for an hour what I need you to do tomorrow because like it's not that difficult. And like that one little hour of training, we started, rolling out together the next day on a Monday. And it's like, yeah, that's like it's not difficult. And like it's like most of the things that you like, as much as you want to be like special and like, hey, I'm very important in my business, like most of the things you do, you can train just about anyone to do. Again, there's levels to everything, of course, but like if you just need someone to help you, like in our instance, like simply like, hey, bring down the buckets, prep this, like go get like that, like anyone could do that. So definitely like, don't overcomplicate it. Like, okay, so I need to hire someone with like 12 years of experience. No, like go get someone that can do the utmost basic tasks to help you move everything faster.
Right. I like that. How don't overcomplicate it, especially at the beginning. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, I have to make all these systems right off the bat. I have to hire all these people." But I like that it's like, you know what? Just get a bit of help and see how it goes. And then, like you said, you learn like, "Oh, wow, it's really easy to train this person. It helps a ton. I can see how much work is left over or how much time we have left." So yeah, no, I think that's great advice for sure. And you kind of touched on this a little bit at the beginning, but what kind of, once you started getting rolling and maybe you had more of a full-time employee, what kind of systems did you put in place?
Yeah, so that one, and it's funny because like it seemed like overkill with just two, like well, just one person, like two in total, but one other person. But
Hmm.
even that, like, yeah, it does help a lot to just like have some, and maybe at that point, like it's not like I was writing things down, like, hey, bro, like here's the process that we're running, but it's more so like, all right, bro, like here's the game plan that we're doing, here's how we're gonna work with each other, and even just like verbally talking it makes a world difference. Like now at this point with the team that we have, like I have a video on it. We're almost not even talking throughout the whole process, and like there's not like a wasted movement in what we're doing because we've done it with like we had so many repetitions. Everyone knows the next step. Everyone knows what to do. Everyone has their portion of their detail, and it's like it's poetry in motion, right? Like we're all just moving, not even talking. It's just getting done at that point. But
Right.
that's like after like multiple reps, multiple things, like figuring out what works, what doesn't. So that's like months, like yeah, months of like just testing what works. In the
Hmm.
beginning, when it was like me and Anthony, it was like, all right, dude, I'm gonna go get this. I'm gonna go
Hmm.
get started this. You go do that. You go do that. Once you're done with that, come back to me and I'll tell you what to
Yeah.
do. And it's like doing that over and over and over. It's like, okay, see, like now you already know what to do. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's 90% is the same thing every single time. So it's like, so even like nothing was written down, nothing, but it's like, okay, over doing the repetitions,
Hmm.
verbally communicating, it's like, okay, like we're getting a better understanding of what's happening. And yeah, like and if you do have like a full time, like even one full-time employee, like it's crucial to have like systems, processes in place. And again, not like full blown out, like here's a full Word document of what we're doing, but more so like on like it gives that person like a sense of like, okay, this is serious. Like we're not just like winging it every time. Like there's a standard to be held here. And
Hmm.
even if it's just us two, like he has a standard he's holding, and I need to follow those standards because whether it's a part-time helper for 15 hours or you have three people on staff full time, like you are the standard of everything. And if they see you slack or like, like, oh, it's okay, he doesn't really mind, like everything breaks. So like you have to hold the standard across everything. And also it's like it's knowing the balance between the standard that you hold yourself to and then like what's acceptable to hold everyone else to, because no one's going to be as good as you, right? No one is as good as me because I've been doing this for like 10, 12 years now, right? Like I know just about everything. I've been through every single scenario. The person we just hired for 4 months, what do they know? And they're not going to catch up to me. Like they're not going to be as good as me. They're not
Right.
going to get as many reps in. Like they're not going to do that. So it's unfair to be like, you have to be to my level. What I
Hmm.
would say is like the business, the company, the brand, the culture has to be held at a level. It
Yeah.
can't be to my level because at that point I have to hire someone that has like 10 years of experience. But it's like, what's the culture? What's the company? What's the brand's standard of excellence? And it's like hold them to that, right? To be fair, because if you have someone that's never done what you've done, that is still learning, it's like, and you have that like that what's the word I'm looking for? It's just unfair to like think like, yeah, that person should be at my level. It's like, bro, they've been doing this for 4 months. You've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
There's no way they're catching up to you.
I saw
So
this quote one time too. It was like, no one also is going to care for your business as much as you do. Like, it's like they
mhm.
want a job, they probably like their job, but it's like at the end of the day, like you're going to care the most and know the most about it. And you're, obsessed about it. You're learning. So, no, that's so true. It's like, you have to give them that time. You can't expect them to know everything right away, like you said. And yeah, having the repetitions, especially, and having some of that training, I think is super important for sure.
I'll pick you off of that one of like, yeah, for one, like if you hire, like there's going to be a buffer between when you hire someone, they don't actually start helping you out until maybe 30, 60, 90 days down the line.
Mhm.
Granted, they'll help you like with the basic stuff, but like to fully have like an efficient system running, again, like they got to go through the training, the training period. They got to get the reps in. They got to make it second nature to them. So although like they make an impact, within 30 days, to make it actually like flow and it's efficient and like it, like I'd say the first 30 days they actually slow you down because like you're
Mhm.
training them, you're teaching them, you're showing them the ropes, you're getting them up to speed. So it's more so like the 60th day where it's like, okay, now we're kind of moving. Now things are actually going. So when there is a buffer period between hiring them, training
Mhm.
them to when they're actually like moving and grooving with you. Like there's a buffer time between then.
For
And
sure.
then so yeah, like we haven't hired that many people. I think in total that's come through our organization. It's uh like 4 people in total. So it's not that many people. But like I tell everyone that we hire, like, bro, like I know you're not staying here forever. I would like for you to stay here for like 10 years. I know you're not gonna stay for 10 years. So whatever you can learn from here, I don't care if you go start your own business. Like I don't care any of that. Just, you know, put everything you have in here because you'll see that I put everything that I have here in here every single day.
Mhm.
Like learn as much as you can, bro. Like, like take all this, so like as far as information, not physical things, take all the information that you can from here and go apply it to wherever you go next. But it's like I already know they're not going to stay here forever, right? And I'll do
Mhm.
my best to give them like the best culture that they can work in. I'll give them all the resources that they can. But I'm like, this person's not going to stay here forever. And that's a big gripe, especially detailers of like, oh, well, no one wants to work. No one wants to stay there for long. It's like, dude, lawyers have the same problem. You think every lawyer wants to stay at that same firm forever? They want to go and open up their own practice. They want to go and
Yeah.
open up their own firm. It's like everyone has this problem of like, you have a lawyer at a law firm over 6 months. You're like, I could do this on my own. And then
Mhm.
they're going to go open up their own. Like it happens in every field, in every industry with software developers, with lawyers, with dentists, like it happens everywhere. So it's like, don't be naive to think, oh, this person wants to leave. It's like, yeah, they're going to leave. Like, it's like, well, how do you retain employees? It's like, if you want someone to stay there for 2 years, do you have the work environment or the work culture, or are you the leader that someone wants to stay there for 2 years? Like,
Mhm.
are you giving them a reason to stay there for 2 years? Which goes back to like are you actually running a company? Like, how, even if it's just one other person, like, are you being a leader in the company? And the biggest thing is like, do you have a vision for what you're doing, right? Like, does each person there have a purpose on why they're there? Even if it's like, if they're the most entry level person of doing whatever, it's like they still serve a purpose, right? Like, no, even if it's like they're just cleaning up the shop and filling up the van, it's like, bro, like that still helps you achieve the greater vision. And like, are you sharing the information with them? Are you telling them, hey, because you're doing this, although it seems so little and not important, this helps me free up time to go do this, which makes me do 2 more moves, which like, hey, give me 6 months and we're not going to be here anymore. Like, you got to
Mhm.
have invested in what you're doing, even if it's just one other person for 20, 25 hours a week, 10 hours a week. Like, they have to be invested in what you're doing. Like, what is the vision that you're doing?
Right.
You got to get them included. Like, you got to give them a reason to be there. Like, the pay is like, although it's important, it's not the end all be all. Like, are they invested in the vision? Are they invested
Mhm.
in the growth? Are they invested in you as a person? Like, do they like you as a person being there? Yeah, it's not just the pay. It's not just like what it's like. Are they invested in the vision? And have you clearly talked to them like, hey, like, this is what I want to do.
Mhm.
Where I see myself in 6 to 12 months. Here's how you can help me. And if you stick with me, like, here's what I can see us be doing together over the next, 6 to 12 to 24 months.
Mhm. No, I think that's great advice for sure in terms of, yeah, keeping employees and motivated and sharing that vision, I think is so important. One of the last questions I have for you today is you shared so much advice already, but what would be your biggest piece of advice for people just starting out in the detailing industry, whether it is a marketing tip or just in general? Do you have any words of wisdom to kind of finish off?
Yeah, like I kind of lumped this into it's anytime anyone wants to start anything. Like I always get questions like, "Hey, how do you start a YouTube channel? Right? What's your advice for starting a YouTube channel?" Or "Hey, what's your advice for starting a detailing business?" Or I'll still get some questions. "Hey, I want to start this like landscaping business. Any tips?"
Mhm.
It's like first and foremost, like you have to be in it for the next like 5 to 10 years. Like if you think any shorter than that, you're already playing a losing game because just to get off the ground, it's gonna take a lot of work and effort. And if you're not looking at it for 5, 10 years, like you're already thinking kind of short term. On
Mhm.
top of that, too, is it if you focus on the things that actually grow your business, meaning not a business card, not a logo, not making a cute little website, not getting a tagline, not if you focus on the right things that actually move the needle forward, right? Not vanity metrics, not things that make you feel good, like things that actually get your phone to ring and get customers to book. You could have a six-figure business within 18 months. Granted, a bunch of other factors have to be in place, but it's like if you focus on the things that matter the most, meaning first and foremost, like generating leads, having a great customer experience, having great customer service. Um, Actually, those are things. Like I know there's a thing of like you have to be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, but at the same time, though, we do live in a digital world. Things move a lot faster than what they did 10 years ago. So if you focus on the right things, if you know the levers to push and pull, you can grow your business. You know, I'm not gonna say any numbers because it's dependent on that individual, but like you can grow it much faster than what you think you can because there's so many available tools. And if you know the levers to push and pull, you can grow your business much faster than what you think.
Mhm.
I don't.
For
That's
sure.
probably
No,
it.
that's a great point for sure. Even because we're in this digital age, like you said, you focus on the customer service, you focus on the quality of your work. You can grow it pretty quickly, but like you said, you have to be all in and know that it's going to be a long-term thing, especially if you're starting a business.
Yes.
Or, yeah. No, this was great. Thank you so much. I feel like, yeah, you gave so much valuable advice. We actually have like 4 comments, so for 3 or 4 comments of people saying how much they're taking away from this today. So, yeah, Oscar, thank you so much. I'm excited to, yeah, do another live soon. This was great.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. It was fun being here.
Awesome. Okay, thanks everyone tuning in. This video will be saved, so if you want to loop back and see it again, it will be saved on our YouTube channel. So, yeah, go check that out. But yeah, thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
See ya.